I used to believe that I understood my own mind. I told myself that my jealousy was just love wearing a louder voice, that my fear of losing was proof of how deeply I cared. From the outside, everything looked normal. A relationship that began with laughter, late night conversations, and promises whispered as if they were secrets from the world. But inside, something darker was forming quietly, patiently. He thought he understood his mind, but what he didn't know was that a resource existed that could help him rebuild his life. You will find it in the description and comments. At the time, though, I didn't think I needed help. Isn't that how it always starts? We normalize the discomfort, we romanticize the pain, and we confuse control with connection. Jealousy arrived slowly, almost politely. At first, it was a question asked with a smile. Who are you talking to? Then it became a feeling in my chest when a notification lit up your phone. I told myself it was instinct, intuition, protection. But what if intuition is just fear in disguise? What if the jealousy effect isn't love at all, but insecurity demanding obedience? I began to scan every word, every pause, every glance. My mind turned into a courtroom where you were always on trial, and I was both judge and executioner. The anxiety never slept. It whispered worst-case scenarios into my ear at night, replayed imaginary betrayals on an endless loop, and convinced me that vigilance was the only way to survive. The conflict grew as my inner world became more toxic. I didn't just fear losing you, I feared facing myself without you. That fear transformed into control, and control disguised itself as concern. I just worry about you. I just want to protect what we have. But beneath those phrases lived a fragile ego, terrified of abandonment, starving for reassurance, yet never satisfied by it. The jealousy effect is cruel like that. The more reassurance it receives, the more it demands. It doesn't want peace. It wants power. And slowly, I became someone I barely recognized, suspicious, reactive, emotionally exhausted. My love turned into a surveillance system, and my heart into a locked room with no windows. The breaking point didn't come as an explosion. It came as silence. One day, after another argument fueled by assumptions and accusations, I looked at you and saw not a partner, but a stranger who was tired of defending their innocence. And when you looked at me, I saw fear, not fear of losing me, but fear of being with me. That moment shattered something inside. I realized that excessive jealousy doesn't just poison relationships, it corrodes the self. I was living in constant anxiety, measuring my worth by your availability, tying my identity to your behavior. How did love become a battlefield? How did my mind turn into my own enemy? In that collapse, something unexpected happened. Awareness. Pain has a way of stripping away illusions. I started to ask questions I had avoided for years. Why did I need so much control to feel safe? Why did uncertainty feel unbearable? Why did I believe that love required constant proof? The answers weren't flattering. They pointed to old wounds, unresolved trauma, and a deep-seated fear of being unworthy. I began to see that my jealousy wasn't about you at all. It was about a fractured relationship with myself. And that realization hurt more than any imagined betrayal because it meant responsibility. It meant that healing couldn't come from changing you. It had to come from rebuilding me. Rebuilding is not glamorous. It's quiet, uncomfortable, and often lonely. It meant sitting with anxiety instead of acting on it. It meant learning the difference between intuition and projection, between boundaries and control. I had to confront narcissistic patterns in my thinking, the belief that everything revolved around my feelings, my fears, my interpretations. I had to accept that love does not eliminate uncertainty, and that trust is not the absence of fear, but the decision not to let fear lead. Day by day, I learned to pause, to breathe, to question my own narratives. Each small victory felt like reclaiming a piece of my peace. Over time, I noticed a shift. My mind grew quieter. The constant need to check, to interrogate, to anticipate disaster began to fade. I rediscovered parts of myself that jealousy had consumed: creativity, presence, empathy. Relationships felt lighter, not because they were perfect, but because they were no longer governed by insecurity. I understood that healthy love allows space and that true connection cannot exist where there is emotional captivity. The jealousy effect had taught me a brutal lesson. When insecurity leads, love suffocates. At the end of his journey, he discovered guidance and a resource that helped him face anxiety and rebuild his life. You can access it too. The link is in the description and comments. How to deal with toxic people and protect your mind and relationships became not just a title, but a reminder that protecting your mind is an act of self-respect, and protecting your relationships begins with self-awareness. Excessive jealousy doesn't disappear overnight, but it loses its power when exposed to understanding, boundaries, and compassion for oneself. True freedom begins in the mind and only then appears in life. If this story resonated with you, like this video, subscribe to the channel Love and Mind and continue this journey toward healthier relationships and a stronger inner world.